This wasn't supposed to happen.
But he's walking through them so far. Catches blood coming from above the right eye.
Naoya Inoue was the champion, fighting on home soil against an over-the-hill opponent. But all it takes is one punch, and in the Japanese fighter's case, his right eye became blurry and he started seeing double. So what do you do when your vision fails you 2 rounds into the biggest fight of your life? If you're a smart fighter like Inoue, you adapt by covering the broken eye and making do with just one. Sure, you lose some depth perception, but at least you're no longer fighting 2 people. However, not all boxers are as resourceful or clever as Inoue. Sometimes a damaged eye is absolutely catastrophic.
I can't see nothing, gotta open my eye. Come here, man.
I don't want to do it.
Cut it.
Okay, that's not how it happens in real life. At least not the cutting part. But boxers do take damage to the eyes all the time. Broken orbital bones, blindness, and cuts swelling to the size of balloons come with the territory. Whether you decide to fight through it like Rocky or not is a different story. Most succumb to the pain, some get stopped by the doctor, and even fewer make it to the final bell. In the case of Daniel Dubois vs Joe Joyce, everyone expected the young power puncher to put the juggernaut on his back. Dubois was throwing haymakers, landing heavy but somehow doing little damage. Meanwhile, Joyce was throwing repeated, accurate jabs to the eye. Nothing particularly heavy, but consistently accumulating damage. By the 10th round, Dubois couldn't take it anymore. One final jab had him pawing at his left eye, and he voluntarily took a knee. And with his eye completely shut, he let the referee count him out. Later diagnosed with a fractured eye socket and possible career-ending nerve damage, I'd say he made a pretty smart business decision. And the guy across the ring that did it to him? Ironically, Joe Joyce himself would later suffer the same fate. Riding the reputation of his iron chin, he took on Zhilei Zhang, the big puncher from China. And it was business as usual for the favorite Joyce, until Zhang's left hand landed flush. Years of relying on his chin left him with a huge hole in his defense. Absolutely zero head movement. So when Zhang kept firing that left missile, Joyce kept eating it. In the 6th round, the ref called the doctor over to evaluate his eye and ultimately end the fight. Joyce's first loss, not because he was knocked out, but because his right eye was completely swollen shut. You can have a granite chin, but you can't have granite eyes. So even if you have the heart to not quit, the doctor will make you. As was the case for Yordenis Ugas when he fought Errol Spence. Ugas became a one-eyed fighter after getting battered to the body and face for 10 rounds straight. But even with his right eye all busted up and unable to see, he was shocked that the doctor would even think about calling the fight. So when it came to an abrupt end, he was in pure disbelief. Ugas suffered a broken orbital bone and his eye was bleeding for 2 days after. But you can't call him a quitter. The word quit, however, might be too harsh. When the consequences are permanent blindness, brain damage, and death, I don't blame anyone for ending the fight early. Just ask Billy Joe Saunders about his unification with Canelo. After 8 rounds, he was finally finding his rhythm and boxing well. But like most Canelo fights, once he lands, it's game over. Canelo figured out Saunders' head movement, and with a counter right uppercut directly to his eye, the entire fight changed. Saunders went from slick to scared, stepping back instead of pressing the action. You can even see the damage right away. His eye was blackened immediately after the punch. And Canelo sensed it too, rallying the crowd as he walked Saunders down. When the round ended, the Mexican champion started celebrating early, as if he knew he had broken his opponent. Billy Joe failed to answer the bell, suffering his first defeat and being rushed to the hospital. One punch can change a fight, especially when it breaks your eye in 3 places. Then you have Kell Brook. Poor Kell Brook. After defending his welterweight title 3 times, he moved up 2 weight classes to challenge Gennady Golovkin. The Kazakh boogeyman, one of the hardest hitters in boxing history, and a man on a 22-win knockout streak. Needless to say, it didn't go well for Kell. After making it a war in the early rounds, he soon found out that Prime Triple G was the Terminator. Golovkin walked him down and broke his right eye socket with his jab. Brook's corner saw him fading, and to protect their fighter's vision, threw in the towel.
This is not boxing. I need street fight. Just broke him. That's it.
But Kell was fighting an all-time great in a new weight class. Surely he'd do better back at welterweight, right? Well, normally I'd agree, if he wasn't fighting Errol Spence Jr. So fresh out of surgery with a titanium plate inserted into his face, Kell Brook took on the American. And once again, the Sheffield man made it a competitive and exciting fight. But by the 10th round, Spence's bodywork, pace, and pressure was just too much. The southpaw jab damaged Brook's left eye, and Spence took full advantage. Brook got beaten down to the canvas, and despite his ballooning eye, fought back like a champion. But the pain was too much, and his eyes kept dipping into double vision. Brook took a knee, and just like his last fight, his corner threw in the towel. This time, his left eye socket was shattered, once again needing surgery. This man took on 2 pound-for-pound assassins back to back, and it cost him both of his eyes. So is it even possible to win after suffering an eye injury in the ring? It's rare, but it can definitely be done. Hell, Joe Frazier fought his whole career legally blind in one eye, and he's a top 10 heavyweight of all time. It takes a special fighter to not only survive, but thrive after getting blinded in the ring. Enter Tyson Fury. In 2019, the Gypsy King took on low-ranked challenger Otto Wallin from Sweden. What was supposed to be an easy tune-up in preparation for the Wilder rematch became a bloodbath. With the short left hook, Wallin opened up a deep gash above Fury's right eye. The champ started leaking blood, and the challenger saw his opportunity. Fury's cut became a bright red target for Wallin, who shifted his entire strategy towards the laceration. A second cut opened up and the blood continued to pour, prompting referee Tony Weeks to call over the ringside physician. Fury's undefeated record, his claim to the lineal heavyweight championship, and his pride as the Gypsy King were about to be ripped away from him by an unknown challenger. But he assured the doctor that he could see, and with the realization that the fight could be stopped, he went to work. Fury finished the round strong, but his cut was now bleeding more than ever. And during a break in the action, Wallin thumbed at his eye, raking his glove directly across the open gash. A dirty foul to bring him that much closer to the heavyweight crown. But this only lit a fire in Fury's belly. And with half a jar of Vaseline on his cut and a renewed sense of urgency, he went looking for the knockout. The Gypsy King dominated the second half of the fight, imposing his size on the smaller opponent, boxing beautifully from the outside, and winning the inside exchanges. In total command of the action, Fury punished Wallin to the body and picked him apart bell to bell. This should have been a much more boring fight, and if you really look at it, it was a one-sided beatdown. Fury displayed his unwavering will to win, proving neither knockdown, nor knockout, nor cut could stop him. And 47 stitches later, he and his eye were back in the KO column. So it's clear that when eyes get compromised, more often than not, it leads to defeat. So what sets the winners apart from the losers? Is it toughness, cardio, skill, or something else? By all accounts, this should have been a straightforward win for Inoue. So when he suffered his career's first cut and started seeing double, the fight became significantly more interesting. By covering his right eye, he was able to stay calm, survive, and find his punches. He took back control of the fight behind a crisp jab and powerful counters, only shielding his vision up close as not to alert Donaire to his partial blindness. In round 9, however, a picture-perfect straight right pole counter from Donaire rocked Inoue to his core, and we all saw something we'd never seen from the monster before, a clinch. Stunned and hanging on for dear life, Inoue went into survival mode. But fighting an elite finisher like Donaire, he knew he couldn't just shell up and invite the knockout punch. So to hide his pain and fatigue, he put on his best poker face and asked for more. The momentum had momentarily swung in Donaire's favor, but Inoue still had his money punch.
Here Inoue has him ready to go to the body. Yep, there it is.
Here comes Inoue. Oh, he's got into the body. Oh, what a shot.
A left hook to the body immobilized Donaire's liver, causing him to shut down and collapse to the canvas. And if the referee didn't stop him, Inoue's knockout streak would likely still be alive today. He took control of the championship rounds, and after 36 grueling, hard-fought minutes, he was the victor. If we've learned anything from Tyson Fury or Naoya Inoue, it's that you have to pull deep from your trick bag to leave the ring with your belt. To be champion, mind games, mental fortitude, and the ability to adapt have to be trained just as much as the body. In an interview after the fight, Inoue revealed that the tactic to cover his injured eye was actually learned from Donaire himself. When he first started seeing double, he panicked. but suddenly remembered the very same scenario happened to his opponent. 6 years prior, Donaire was fighting Guillermo Rigondeaux when a quick left hand stunned him. Obscured by double vision, he too resorted to hiding his right eye to see clearly. So when Inoue was cut with the exact same injury, he had the perfect game plan to follow. Inoue was able to mitigate his defective eyesight, take Donaire's best punches, and ultimately get the job done. Their back and forth action earned Fight of the Year and skyrocketed the Japanese fighter to worldwide acclaim. There's no doubt that Inoue was studying Donaire's old fights in preparation for their battle, and that one minute detail might have just saved him. So what do you do when your vision fails you 2 rounds into the biggest fight of your life? You could let your corner or the pain decide your fate, or you could just adapt and ask for more.